It's Ingrid here. I'm going to just sort of run through some sort of housekeeping. We are recording this session. There is no presentation because this is an online discussion. So if you are wanting to, you can, I will be keeping an eye on the chat. You can pop comments and information and share in the chat. You can also put up your hand and you can unmute yourself and share that way. The mute button, the hands up button is if you can look on the list of participants right down at the bottom, there is a raise hand option. Or if you have the later Zoom loaded, the hands up button is on the reaction button. Yeah, as I said, we have over 100 registrations and I see lots of people are joining. So Lynn, I'm going to hand over to you to start. Thank you. Lynn, you muted. Lynn. Lynn? Lynn, just check your volume, check your sound.
I think earlier Lynn had her headsets in and it was not on now. So maybe she just need to plug in her headset again.
Okay. Yes, technology on a Friday afternoon. Sorry, I'm sure she's... Hi, Gerda. Okay, so while we're waiting for Lynn to sort out her sound, as I say, I'm not too sure what's happened. Would welcome to all of you. I see we have librarians. When I looked at the registration list, we have librarians from all over the country. Lynn, have you found your audio? We've got from CPUT, from UCT, from Northwest, UKZN, Sol Plaikey, CUT, UWC. Lynn, we still can't hear you. Technology. So a range of libraries across the country, academic libraries across the country, and welcome to you all, because this was the interest that's been shown for this webinar, for this online discussion. Hi, there's Lynn. It's been quite phenomenal. Okay, so hand over to Lynn.
Oh, I'm so sorry about this, and it was strange because we tested this earlier and everything worked fine, and suddenly the sound is gone. But yes, technology. Good afternoon, everybody, and best wishes for the new year to everybody, and welcome to our Our webinar on going virtual with orientation. I just want to mention that this is a very informal discussion over coffee, as the advert stated. So we are really looking forward to engaging with everybody that's in the room. For those of you who don't know me, I am Lynn Kleinveld, and I was a faculty librarian at CPUT for a long time, and I've recently joined the academic side of things, and I currently hold a position in the Business and Information Administration Department at CPUT as a lecturer. I'm also the acting chair of HELIG, and I would like to introduce Ingrid. I'm sure most of you know Miss Ingrid Thompson, who is a faculty librarian at UCT and also the convener for HELIG. And we will be facilitating the discussion this afternoon on going virtual with library orientation. So yes, indeed, it's challenging times for all of us. If we just think back to exactly a year ago and many other January months, this was actually the hectic orientation, face-to-face orientation period before classes commence, which at many universities in South Africa would be in February. So now, with the current lockdown restrictions that we find ourselves in, those face-to-face orientation programs cannot take place. It's unfortunately not possible. And we need to look at innovative ways of doing orientation virtually. And it really calls for a time for librarians and academics to work closely in making these innovative orientation programs run successfully, but virtually. And we need to do this because, let's face it, it is one of the fundamental components in the first year experience is to at least have an orientation program. But before we start considering how we would roll out a successful virtual orientation, we need to also reflect on what we have done in the past that which can be developed or just enhanced that will complement a virtual orientation program. So at this point, I just want to share my screen and go a little bit back into history. And those of you who recall, Ingrid and I, we hosted the very first webinar in 2014, and the title was Library Orientation, Is It Still Necessary? And I just want to share what my thinking was at the time when presenting on the topic. It was not to phase out library orientation, but rather to somehow integrate it into the more formal information literacy programs that many universities and university libraries are running. And at the time, I was the faculty librarian of applied sciences, and I somehow sold the idea to the faculty and got the gradual buy-in from the departments to integrate the library orientation into the information literacy program. So what did that entail? It entailed not having the information overload that happens during the January orientation programs that most departments at the universities run, but rather to hold onto that and cover it during those sessions when the students actually start with the first assignments, and they are then able to appreciate what the library has to offer at the time of need. But what I have on the screen is just a summary also of what other university libraries during that first webinar that we had on the topic had to say about orientation programs. And there were some interesting programs that were already being rolled out. For example, Rhodes did the Amazing Race. Stellenbosch was exploring Web 2.0 tools, and as I mentioned, CPUT libraries at the time was looking at integrating the orientation fully into information literacy. That took place fully in the applied sciences faculty at the time. UKZN was exploring the learning management systems and how to roll out library orientation there. And UWC looked at exploring Prezi and doing virtual orientation. I think I missed one or two at the bottom, yes. UP looked at virtual orientation videos already in 2014. And UJ was looking at LibGuides and Facebook platforms for library orientation. UFS was also looking at integrating the library orientation into information literacy training. TSIPA did a 15-minute introduction and also looked at worksheets. So if we now just look at since then what really took place, one would see that many other discussions took place and debates on how to have dynamic library orientation programs. So we would like to share best practices during the session today so that we can really help one another during these challenging times and work well together to see how we can successfully roll out those virtual orientation programs. So Ingrid, I'm not sure whether you would like to add anything at this point, but there's just a few things that I'll first hand over to you before I mention just a few things that we need to consider with the whole virtual orientation programs.
Yeah, I I mean, part of this, the idea for this webinar or this discussion came, in fact, from colleagues at UCT, because we're all sickling with this problem. How do you? It's not business as usual. I mean, I don't know whether in your institutions at what point students would be physically back on campus, and that your libraries are, that it's I hesitate to say back to normal, because what is normal? But sort of trying to grapple with this. How do we do orientation? And I'm afraid, yeah, if you were looking to Lynn and myself for answers, we don't have those. This is why there is this discussion. And perhaps there'll be, with aha moments and with the sharing, that there'll be some aha moments that people will walk away going like, okay, that's an idea. Or perhaps you would like to share some of your practices. I'm very interested to hear what happens at UNISA because online has been part of UNISA forever. So there's got to be some practices there that we could possibly share, and that we'll look to our colleagues just now to take us through their experiences. But I'm going to now hand back to Lynn.
Thank you, Ingrid. So some of the dilemmas that we are facing at the moment, just thinking about a first year, coming straight from matric, going to enter university for the first time. Now it is not like our traditional walking on campus and meeting the rest of your classmates and having peer helpers take you by the hand and show you around campus and the various units and so on. Just thinking about the whole arrangement at the moment is online. How do we reach these first years when everything might be new to them? They might not have the devices or even internet connection as we have experienced last year with many of our students battling to join online classes because of not having access. So these are the challenges that we face over and above everything else. And we would like to make use of the platforms and tools that are available, but are those the ideal platforms to reach out to the students? For example, the WhatsApp issue, current issue with WhatsApp, are users comfortable to use WhatsApp at this stage? And going the WhatsApp route based purely on the fact that when students register, that is one of the information that they are sharing is their cell numbers, and maybe reaching them that way to share videos via WhatsApp. The other challenge is also data and the restrictions with WhatsApp in terms of video sizes. This is something that I experienced last year with my classes, where, well, half of my class preferred us having WhatsApp online sessions, and the other half were comfortable with Blackboard Collaborate. But one of the challenges with WhatsApp is the size of any video that I developed. I needed to resize it, and then the quality of the video is really low to an extent that a lot of the content is not visible. So these are things that we need to consider if we are looking at going the mobile phone route with orientation programs. The learning management systems, on the other hand, are students' logins active, and are they able to find their way, navigate, and access the content that one is making available on Blackboard, if this is the very first time that they are engaging with online material. These are just some of the challenges, and there are many others, and I'm sure that colleagues are going to share that as well. So on that note, I would like to open the floor for comments, for sharing best practices or any ideas, or if you have other challenges that you would also like to share with us, just so that we can have a discussion this afternoon on this and then the way forward. So thank you. The floor is open, and please do use the chat space, or you may raise your hand if you would like to speak to us. Thank you.
Okay, there are two comments, one from Erica saying she feels close cooperation with student structures that are organizing orientation sessions virtually is crucial during this time to be part of the bigger outreach. I wanted to ask at that point, what are the bigger outreach plans in your institution? Are those still, are those underway, still in process? Is there something that has been actually worked out yet? I mean, how is the library getting integrated in that? I don't know, Erica, do you want to unmute and chat or comment?
Yes, Ingrid. Yeah, I raised my hand to Sommer. I just want to say that they've already started last year within the university, the student support department started with a program. And we are usually part of the orientation program, but because it's much more virtual this year, we were sitting in the meetings to be able to hear what they are planning and to contribute with our ideas. And we have already scheduled that short 15-minute session for our video to be played, and there will also be a staff member or two present for virtual questions and answers. So we don't have to invent something on our own. We are part of the bigger picture of things that's already been done. So I think that assists the library in being part of that.
Okay, yes. I mean, I think that is probably it seems to be the way to go, to be part of that bigger picture. I mean, we do run smaller sort of orientation. I mean, physically when we were on campus, running smaller orientations for groups, whether by class or by course or along those ways. But it's how we do this virtual orientation. Yeah. Yes.
Maybe I just would like to share what I did last year when we were in this heavy lockdown, and the announcement was made that classes would, the multimodal approach will be rolled out, and we started on the 1st of June. So what I decided to do was to have my little internal orientation program a week before the 1st of June. And I also got the library involved there. So what I did, I developed a getting started with multimodal teaching and learning activities. So little guides, little videos, how-to videos, how to, for example, download the Blackboard app on the phone and navigate and access your content and so on. And also getting resources from the library. Luckily, at CPUT, we also have the information literacy modules embedded in the Blackboard subjects. So it doesn't matter what subject the student registers for, once they've logged into Blackboard, they also have access to those online modules, which really helps. And the library website is also embedded in the link to the library website is embedded in Blackboard as well. So that was what I did. And so as I was getting guides and, for example, how to access ebooks from the library, I would add that to my my module. So I created a module which acted as my little internal orientation program for the business accounting and also business applications subjects that I was lecturing last year. So I don't know what the other colleagues are planning, or maybe already had planned last year with the lockdown, and how to support the academics and the programs with regards to orientation, and also access to the library resources.
Okay, I'm trying to keep an eye on on whether there are any hands up. If I don't see your hands, then please just unmute and say who you are, and say and where you're from, actually, if you and then share. So Erica was from Northwest. Erica Root was from Northwest.
I see Larshan's comment about an orientation pack together with the course material packs that was sent to students last year, posted last year. Yes, that is also a good idea, Larshan. Thank you for sharing that. That maybe a little orientation program is just integrated into that study pack that are posted to students.
Larshan, what was in that pack, in the virtual, in the course materials pack that was posted? Larshan?
Ingrid, sorry. Hi, colleagues. This is Larshan from Rhodes University Library.
Hello, Larshan. Welcome.
Hi, yes, we haven't actually done that last year, but I'm saying going forward, we could have an information booklet and with all the links to all the web tools that are available and all the hyperlinks that you could use. The other thing is we've done 4 videos, a virtual tour, my library account, meet your librarian, and I think those are the things that people watch. And it's just short snippet videos, 2-minute or 3-minute videos, because people do not have the time to watch or the data to watch these videos. So they have to be extremely short so that people can watch it and just have a basic idea as to an overview of the library as such. Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Larshan. That is a good idea. And yes, the videos we have seen that students, they want to access something quickly. It has to be short and sweet. So yes, that is very important, that you know, one limits the videos to about 1 or 2 minutes. Thanks, Larshan.
Yeah, no, that is true. Do you? I mean, so there's the big institutions orientation that libraries become part of, that maybe get a 5-minute, 10-minute slot to introduce themselves. And then how do you take it further, sort of orientation? I mean, because in that orientation with subject related or course related, are any of you looking at specific things? So I'm just now thinking at UCT, and my colleagues from UCT can chip in here and say no or yes. Essentially, we've got orientation for the different faculties. So certainly with humanities, we are going to be part of the big orientation for the first years, but I'm not sure whether it's going to actually be video or whether it is, quite honestly, just going to be a slide presentation, because we were also, it was said again, because the students don't have data, they don't have the wherewithal to watch, they're trying to avoid giving students videos or giving them giving them that to start off with. So I'm not sure what is happening elsewhere. Although I'm interested to know what happens at UNISA. So if one of our UNISA colleagues could share just
Ingrid,
how your orientation, yeah. Is there a hand up?
Suren's hand is up.
Ingrid?
Yes, yes, yes.
My hand is
Oh. Sorry, there's a lot of feedback. Sorry, just okay. Who wants to go first?
Good afternoon, colleagues. Can I?
Okay. Yes.
Thank you very much. You're speaking to Suren from UNISA.
Good afternoon.
I just want to contribute to the discussion by saying that UNISA currently, even though we are an online institution for many, many decades, COVID has dragged us kicking and screaming into a new world of online applications. And even though we are at a very advanced stage of teaching and learning and library online service provision, there are a number of barriers that we have to consider. And the prime amongst that is faculty buy-in and collaboration. We haven't crossed that bridge yet. It's an ongoing process. And I can report on that in a few months' time when we are at an advanced stage of rolling out an inaugural online first-year student information literacy program. And I want to concur fully with some of my colleagues who spoke earlier on that the first-year mind is like a puppy. You can't hold that attention span for more than half an hour or 45 minutes. Hence, when you put together an information literacy instructional pack, it has to be multimodal, multifactored. Text, narrative, multiple choice, single answer, multiple choice, multiple answer. And I talk from experience here because 5 years ago at Wits University, I put together a first-year information literacy course for the Department of African Languages, comprising 680 students, using what the university uses at that time, the Sakai open source language. The 20 questions worked well, and the 25% grading mark was approved by the dean and the faculty committee. So without taking up too much space on your forum, all I'm trying to make is 2 points here: buy-in, 1, and 2, keeping it concise to keep attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Mashadili, do you want to just talk? You were wanting to say something, and we had the feedback, the hallback. Do you want to? Can I give you the floor, please? Sorry, you can, yes. Okay, try again. Do you want to go ahead? I'm not sure what's happened.
It seems like Mashadile lost her connection, so let's hope that she will connect again.
Okay, I'm just looking at the chat space, Ingrid. There's another comment on the virtual tour. And an office mix videos. The virtual tour includes the clips of meeting, your librarian also doing live streaming through the social media platform. So social media platforms are also being used for orientation.
this is UFS library. Would you like to talk? Can you speak? Can I ask you to unmute yourself and to share a bit? And how far? When did your planning actually start for this? Because I think that's also quite a challenge. Is when do you start planning, or are we all doing this at the, sort of running around frantically now trying to sort something out?
Okay. Good afternoon, colleagues. This is Lee from the University of the Free State, and I'm on the planning committee of the first year orientation. So with regard to the planning, orientation at UFS has always been an ongoing project. So we speak about it right through the year, and then it builds up obviously speed at the end of the year for the next year. So we submitted, and our plans and our virtual tours has already been completed in November, December, early December we had to submit. But then already we had the sense that everything will most probably be online. But we keep the door open for the possibility, and we'd love to have face-to-face sessions as well. So that's all been submitted, and we're ready to go. In addition, as we said, the respective librarians will communicate with their faculty, students, and staff in live streaming events on social media. We've tested that; it also works. So we just hope that factors like access to technology, to internet, won't burden the student and get left out. However, this will still be online. It will be available the whole year, because we know students sometimes register late and so on. So those platforms are there. So we're really looking forward to the online orientation. And we also work hand in hand with the center called the Center for Teaching and Learning, which is student orientated to support students. So we've got a lot of support in that area as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's a comment from Susan Noel about saying information literacy might be too intense at the orientation stage. And I think awareness of the library, what it has, your librarian, a virtual tour in a fun way could be more effective. And Michelle concurs. So how much of this library orientation is actually marketing? Is part of marketing. We actually have in our presence the MAG chair. So maybe Teresa might want to pop something in the chat, or to unmute herself and to make some kind of a comment, because I think this is where the marketing kind of overlaps with orientation and / information literacy. Certainly from where I'm standing. So Teresa, I don't know if you would like to make a comment.
Hi everybody, Teresa here. I'm the marketing librarian from UCT. I agree with Ingrid on this. I usually work very closely with Nuru Davids, which is responsible for the orientation of the first years at UCT. We've also been working closely with UCT Communications Department, and they're also looking at virtual videos, and just like Susanna Noel said, snapshots of the library, not to overwhelm the first year and bombard them with a lot of information. In terms of the marketing, I would say, I've been listening to the social media marketing. I think I like the idea of the very short videos that Larshan is mentioning. I think that can work well. The only problem is one should think about very short videos, 30 seconds, 1 minute videos, so that it doesn't take too much data and things like that. And if possible, if one can work with your institution to see how professional this can be done, so that it still fits in with the image of your institution. But I do think if you can sort of get a marketing person involved, it will be much easier, you know, especially if you think about social media marketing. And again, I think the website is a great platform also for the orientation to upload all your videos, or you can use YouTube. That's also a great way to market those orientation videos. Thanks, Ingrid.
Thank you, Teresa. Any other kind of comments? I certainly have been looking at what other people, what other places are doing, and so things like the virtual escape rooms and the online scavenger hunts and that, which is really quite quite difficult. I mean, could be data intensive. Okay, there was a hand up. Who was it? I'm now not seeing. I'm okay. I am not get. I've got a screen.
Muhadi's hand is up at the moment.
All right.
And then
over
Larsen.
to you. Okay. Thank you. In that order.
Good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon.
Mukhadi, Rebecca, go ahead.
Anybody hear me?
Okay, the sound was a bit. The sound was breaking up. You want to try again? Okay, do you want to pop your comment into the chat then? And yeah, it's technology. That's always a problem. And then we can maybe just move to Larsen.
Thanks, Ingrid. Ingrid, I just want to make one comment here. Over the year, the experience of lockdown, I think we must bear in mind the number of queries that we've had over the past few months. At Rhodes University Library, the most number of queries were accessing of ebooks. And I think given the fact that people needed to access the e-resources within the library, I think the orientation needs to take on a whole new look where the virtual services of the library needs to be emphasized. And I think that's something that we need to bear in mind, as in the old way of doing things where we spoke to all the physical spaces within the library. I think now it's something that we have to relook at and make people aware of all the virtual services that are in place. Thanks for that.
I totally agree with Larsen. Thank you for pointing that out. If I may, Ingrid, I'd like to share my screen and just maybe share what my module looked like last year. And of course, I'm going to just develop that further for the subjects this year. But just to give colleagues an idea of how the library could support academics and just develop small videos or little guides on various aspects about the virtual library. So can I share my screen?
Can we just give Mukhadi an opportunity to try again?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, colleagues. Am I audible enough now?
Oh, yes, you're fine.
Hear me?
You're fine.
Oh,
yes.
We can hear you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. I was saying I just need to share with you a bit from UNISA, but as you are all aware, UNISA is very big, so I'm going to share part of what I'm involved in, and more especially for first years, that we also use the live broadcasting that we put our orientation there, and we share with, and the students are able to, we are actually working in partnership with or in collaboration with the student retention unit that is catering for first years. So we do live broadcasting that is, students are able to log in wherever they are, and then they are able to watch, and they are able to chat with you and asking questions for clarity and all that while you presenting as well. So that is one part that we are also using in terms of orientation and for first year mainly. So in addition to others, that we also use the MS Teams to do presentation, to do training for all our students as well. Just the same way that we were using before, but now we are using the Teams to train our students. So I know network and data is a challenge, but that's the way we are living, and that's where we're going now. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Lynn.
Okay, thanks. Going to share my screen quickly. So I hope that everybody can see my screen. What I have here is the Getting Started with Multimodal Teaching and Learning Activities module that I prepared, and you can see there are a list of them, and all of these are short guides, whether it's a video or just a PowerPoint. Some of them are just a short Word document. And in between, you will see that there's the guide to accessing an ebook at CPUT libraries, how to search for newspaper articles using keywords via press read and things. So it's all short little guides. So maybe I should just open this one to show you what it looks like. Right, so this is just a PowerPoint presentation that students can quickly access. So it's low on data. So it just gives you an idea of how one can just put small little guides together that will assist the students. Thank you.
Larshan, I think that that's a great idea about a framework for academic library orientation. But I wanted to, you'll see that I've popped in the chat. There is the Sandrick First Year Experience Conference coming up. I think it's in May. There may well be, I mean, I think first year library orientation is a topic that might be something that someone she said gesturing could put a proposal in for a presentation or sort of something on a practical side to talk about the library and first year experience. Yeah, and as Susan's saying, we've got a few how-to videos as well. It's different way of thinking. It really is it's going for the virtual services, and because the chances that the students are actually going to be physically on campus for any length of time is probably quite remote. Any other comments? Yeah.
Ingrid, I just want to add that also one needs to try and develop it according to what are the maybe specific expectations for those students with regards to the assessments and assignments that they will be getting, so that it would then be relevant for them to look at those guides over and above just a general orientation program, but more geared towards the subject-specific areas perhaps.
Yeah, I think, yes, I think the brainstorming, as Emmanuel is saying, I think the brainstorming is actually quite important to kind of, you know, learn from the past experiences, but also with us sharing, keeping an eye out for other people's other institutions, examples of what they're doing, and adapt those to our particular needs. I mean, Sadiq is commenting to first define the objective, and then the structure will flow from that. But so what is the objective? Is it you know, when I look back at some of the stuff that Ned Potter has written about market, and it comes back to marketing. It's just that orientation session is an introduction to the library. Hello, this is the library. This is the library. These are your librarians. Come back to us when you have a need. I don't know. Is that the objective? But I do think Susan's right. It needs to be fun, because the library needs to be. Yeah, no, we are a serious place, but you know, we have fun. We're not these scary librarians. Yeah. Yes. Any other? Sorry, other comments?
Yes, I assume it's Jägers. Jägers, if that's you, there is a raised hand. Please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone. I just want to add on to what my colleagues Suryan and Mukhadi just said. I'm a personal librarian for the School of Law at UNISA. So my integral role is to actually orientate the postgrad students. But I've been listening to the conversations from the beginning, and I see the interest that people want to know, what is UNISA doing? So although I'm dealing mostly with the postgrad students, but I was thinking that it can be something that can be adapted for the undergrads as well. It's actually not rocket science. And it's actually during the COVID period since last year that I've learned a lot about MS Teams. And it's one of the platforms that I'm using to a very, very large extent. And I've been listening to people speaking about videos and so forth. But I actually learned that you can actually use MS Teams to develop your own videos. So you don't have to wait for a training session or for an orientation session. But what is really, really nice is that as I was training different aspects, like showing students how to access the online library. So most of the stuff was actually on the online resources that I've been training the students on. And each of my sessions was recorded. And then I used to send the link to my students, and that they found very, very useful. So at any stage, you can just record it. And if you don't want to actually do the recording of that live session, you can just record whatever you want and you can send them the link. So I think that we need to look at these platforms that students actually have access to. And it's very different, it's very interactive because you are sharing your screen and it's just not a PowerPoint slides, because I know how much my students love reading. So I always prefer taking them to a more interactive platform. Yeah, there's so much of stuff for ODL. So that's the platform that we are using to a very, very large extent. Thank you so much.
Okay, I guess there too is learn to get to grips with the platforms like MS Team and Zoom and all the rest of it, and see see how you can kind of best use it. There's a very good question from Emmanuel. How are colleagues planning with regards to disability students, as this time can be even more challenging? Is there anyone who'd like to comment on that, or share what they're doing? I can't see any hands with the screen that I've got in front. So if you would like to unmute yourself and say who you are and then chat.
Hi, Ingrid. Hi, colleagues. Joanne from CPUT. Emmanuel, I honestly think with regard to orientation to our disability students, this is a pre-planning process once again. Once we receive the applications, students are normally required to identify whether they have any disability. The institutions has a disability center, so therefore a close liaison will have to take place with them in terms of what is the type of disability, and in terms of how are we going, for example, with your videos, because there is some applications that can be applied that is make it possible for hearing aid students with hearing disabilities to be able to hear the video. So yes, what one definitely needs to do again is an inclusive process. So most importantly, we need to have the disability on board. And I think it was Lee that also pointed out, being part of the FYE committee with all the different units and faculty representatives, very crucial is a disability person should be there as well in guiding, in making sure that we are disability friendly in terms of what we developed to present to our first year students as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Joanne.
Sort of just the thought has sort of flitted across my my brain with regards to videos and that we make. We probably should caption, make sure that it is captions and not auto captioned. I don't know if anyone watches YouTube videos that have that auto generated captions.
Yeah.
They are, yeah, they are really, really awful. But to consider things like that, if you're doing a video, to actually put captions, in, just automatically make sure that your videos are captioned. Nuru from UCT has commented again that the students should not be overwhelmed with information from the library, and yes, they are already overloaded with faculty information. It is a case of light, fun, and brief. So yes, taking. And Zini's right, taking into consideration that some first years are still new in this online learning environment. I mean, we would see the brand new, sort of for some first year students who were arriving at the brick and mortar library, that library may well have been the first big library that they encounter. It's really, really scary, library anxiety. So yes, let's make it light and fun. And again, here's a question: what languages are we using, Nuru's made a comment about librarians speak and using terminology, but I'm now thinking, what about, is it just in English, or is it, what languages are what language are those orientation videos, those orientation fun things in? Any thoughts about that? Anyone would like to comment? Okay, thank you, Larsen.
Ingrid, Provost's hand
yes.
Is raised.
Okay.
Hi, Ingrid.
Hi, take it away.
Hi, it's Prabha from UKZN. It's rather very interesting presentations today. It's rather interesting because we were speaking about most of the topics that you are discussing. Firstly, the first year orientation. My colleague Rose was also in this meeting. She wanted to know, how do we plan for our first year students who we don't know what technology skills they have, etc. About the language of the videos and having them in different languages, or we've also been pushing the language policy at UKZN, and we are now going to have our videos available in both languages, maybe subtitles in one, either isiZulu or the other way around in English, and the presentations are done in isiZulu. So it's very interesting that we all seem to be thinking on the same wavelength with regards to our orientation. So I just thought I'd bring that up in this discussion as well, that these are topics we've also been discussing in our meetings. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you.
Okay, well, we could see with the registrations that this was an absolute, there was a need to have these discussions, just to brainstorm. None of us have the answers, but we can all learn from each other and take bits and pieces and incorporate it. Yeah, Lynn, I'm going to hand it back to you. I wonder whether we shouldn't start wrapping. It's after 4. Hopefully no one's got to hit the road to drive home. But because that is probably the reality for a lot of us, that we are working from home. So I'm going to just hand over.
Not unless Ingrid, one needs to drive to an area where the internet connection is much more stable than at home. Then one would still need to hit the road. But thank you, Ingrid, and thank you very much, colleagues, for your participation this afternoon in this very, very important topic, and we appreciate all the ideas that has been shared. It's definitely something that we take into consideration. We are all in this together. We, as Ingrid mentioned, we don't all have the answers, but by having sessions like these, where it is just an informal discussion where we get together and just unpack it, this is how we can find a way to solutions and the way forward in these difficult times. So the session is recorded, and it will be shared. And then a lot of the points that came out with regards to taking into consideration the duration of video clips, maybe looking at more low-key, low tech or low data sort of guidance and things are probably the way to go, as we know that access to data is still a huge challenge for many of our students. But thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you, Ingrid, for facilitating the session with me this afternoon. And we hope that all will go well with your orientation programs that you are planning. And we would definitely continue this discussion again on this topic and other topics. And maybe I can just remind colleagues that the membership, LIASA membership renewals, or there were reminders sent out. It is really important that we do participate and keep on improving our profession. So please do renew your members and invite those colleagues that are still not LIASA members to join us so that we can continue to grow in the profession. That's all from my side. I don't know if you want to add anything, Ingrid?
No, I think we will have to put our heads together and a group of us, not necessarily Lynn and myself, and that we have a continuation, a little bit more sharing, maybe in March, after once all the students have started to trek back, and we sort of that we can reflect on what worked and what didn't work, and the successful things. Okay, I see Pascalis is asking that we need another session before we embark on our orientation. Well, it looks like for most of us the orientation is probably going to be, when are the students, first year students, supposed to be back? It's second week, halfway through March, is it not?
Yes, around about the 15th of March, first years are back. Returning students, their classes commence on Monday.
Well, at CPUT, their classes commence
oh yes, at
on
CPUT,
Monday.
sorry. So I have my first group on Monday, the fourth years. Well, just to share maybe that I sent a little message via a bulk SMS because I'm not sure whether students will be able to log into Blackboard on Monday, and our first session is on Monday. So at least I've tried to reach out through the bulk SMS system, just to share the link to the online session, that we can at least take it from there. So thank you very much, and have a lovely weekend. Keep well, keep safe, and yes, we'll definitely continue the conversation soon.
Yes. Okay. And thank you from me. Stay safe and keep well. Yeah. We're in this for the long haul, I think. So we will be doing online stuff for a while, orientation for a while.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Anne-Marie, for also organizing this platform for us to have the session this afternoon. And once again, thank you, Ingrid, for assisting with facilitating the session. Goodbye, everybody. Keep well, have a lovely weekend, and stay safe.
All right, and you'll get the link to the recording in due course. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Right.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye.